welcome to this week's webinar. I've got the fantastic Laura Brown from Oskia, head of SPA at the moment and also consultant. She's going to come and talk to us about a topic that I'm super passionate about, which is life after SPA. Laura, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
You're really welcome. I mean, obviously, I'm one of those people like yourself who's gone from spa operations and moved out and tried something new. And I think there are a lot of people who would like to do it and just perhaps need a little bit of inspiration or support in knowing where they can go and how they do it. So thank you for joining me to do this webinar. You've got two different types of experience, so it'd be really great to hear from them. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's start at the beginning. Can you share a bit about your journey into spa operations, if that's possible, please?
Yes. So actually, I started my my spa journey, I suppose, back in 2009. So I was actually studying international hospitality at university. As part of that, I had a study abroad semester in Hong Kong,
Ah,
which was absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed the experience. But as part of the hospitality course in Hong Kong, they incorporate spa and resort management. And that's
ah,
where I thought about the spa world. It made me curious to know what was the spa world all about. So I went to have a look at some of the spas in Hong Kong when I wasn't studying, and just to see what they did and what it was all about. And my interest was sparked from there, really. So when I graduated, I finished up with my studies and I went to work in a spa in London, which was the Berkeley Hotel, as a spa receptionist to see if I liked working in a spa, and happily, I really did enjoy it. So that's how I actually entered into the spa world. And then from there, I've worked in a few different spas. So I was part of the opening team at the Bulgari Hotel in London in 2012, which was a very exciting year of the Olympics as well, and lots of other things happening in London. And then after that, I moved to Dubai. After visiting a friend there, I realized that it was a great place to work in hospitality and spas. So this was back in 2013, and I basically applied for jobs on Caterer Global website and was hoping for the best. And eventually I got a job. So I got the job as the assistant spa manager at the Armani Hotel, which is in the Burj Khalifa Tower. And I just moved there. So a few months later, I was on my way, and yes, that was a great experience as well. And so my manager eventually left after a few months to relocate back to his home country, and then the GM said, "Well, Laura, you could just be the spa manager."
I
So
think that happens quite often, doesn't it? You're suddenly like, oh, thrust into the limelight.
yeah. So I probably was not ready for that at the time, but as with everything, and I'm learning this more now, you're never ready for anything until you do it. So
Mm.
I just started it and learned, and I had a great mentor in my GM at the time, an amazing team, and it was a fantastic experience. And then after a few more years, I moved to Fairmont Hotel in the Palm because I wanted to know about spa resorts. I hadn't worked in a resort before, so that was another new experience for me. And I was there for another 4 years, working under some really great mentors and another fantastic team. And then eventually I came back to London in 2020,
Yep.
and I started working at the Berkeley again. So I just emailed them saying, I'm back in London. There was no vacancy, but I just said, I'm here if you are ever looking for a spa manager. And then they contacted me, and then it went back from there. So lots of different ways of sort of getting all these different opportunities, but not always the straightforward way.
I think you've got to be open to it, haven't you? You've got to be open to roles or positions or trying new things. And I love it. I love the fact that you just go on the global caterer and just
Yeah.
start applying for jobs.
See what happens.
I'm going to Dubai.
Yeah, so that was me. And then we opened the Seren Spa, which was part of the Berkeley Hotel, but also the new Emery Hotel at the start of 2024. And I was there until I left in November 2024. And then now I'm working for Oskia. So that's
And
pretty much my entire life story in a few minutes.
it's brilliant, but it's brilliant. And I think you've worked not only in the UK, you've worked in Dubai, you've worked reception, you've worked in various. You've had a quite a condensed career across various different aspects of spa, haven't you? So, but what is it that's inspired you to step away from day-to-day spa management? Because it looks like you were on a roll, so to say,
Yeah.
within the industry, and what made you explore a different path in the industry?
Yes, so I think it was probably a combination of things, but the main reason for me to change was that I felt like I needed a new task because once I'd been a spa manager in a few different spas and a few different settings, then we've done a couple of different openings. I realized that although I was still learning new things, the task was very much I've done this before. I know what we have to do. So something I'm really enjoying now in my current role is this is a role I've never ever done. So everything is new.
Yeah.
And I think I needed that, which was one. And then aside from that, sort of outside of work, my dad got diagnosed with dementia about a year ago. It's progressively got a bit worse over time, and I think over the last few months of working at Sorrent, I kind of realised that combining caring for dad and being the spa director of Sorrent was going to be quite tricky to do both really well. So I felt that I was always compromising on one of them, and it just didn't seem to, I didn't feel that I had um, the capacity to do both roles really well. And I could just see that it wasn't going to work trying to do both, and something had to give. So I just picked, I suppose
Family
I picked
first,
my
isn't it?
family.
Family first.
Yes. And then on the back of that, I suppose since starting my new role, I feel that it's actually been really good for me too, because I guess I've been doing the same sort of job for about 15 years. So it was actually a good move for me too to then do something completely new and try it out as well and see if I can do this too.
That is it. You did when we've spoken before, haven't we? And you were saying about your dad and stuff, and I'm obviously really sad to hear that he's so unwell. But I can imagine being a carer and that responsibility and the emotional responsibility as well doesn't and it's not easy when you're also a spa director who has also the you've got other people's emotional well-beings there and stuff,
Yeah.
and as we know it can be quite a full-on role. It's a
Yeah.
difficult one, I would imagine, to try and balance. Is I said family first a minute ago, but it's difficult to make that decision to to say, actually, I've got to put my career, it's not going to go that way anymore because
Yeah.
I've got these other needs, and they're both very emotional needs, aren't they, with your team and
Yes.
the potential burnout from being a spa director. But actually, your priority does have to become your family, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's it's the one
I
thing
think
that you need
so.
to.
And I feel that, lots of spa directors who I've talked to, since I've left, many of them say the same thing, and that it's a very full on role. And, everyone has different sorts of things happening outside of work. It might be caring for a parent, it might be caring for a child, it could be all sorts of different things. But I suppose in different companies it can be different too. But I do think that burnout is something which I'm starting to hear more
Mm,
from the spa leadership community, as all of the spa leaders I know are such wonderful people. They give everything to their team and they give their best, and they start earlier than they're supposed to and they finish later and
yeah.
they do things on their days off, and that's how we all sort of work. So and that's wonderful, but also sometimes you have to think about yourself and make sure that you're okay, and also the other people around you as well at home.
I think we talk about therapist retention, but we're not talking about is spa leadership retention, are we? Like, you're right.
Mm.
There is, I do hear it more and more, the burnout. And actually, and I say this, but are spa directors well? Like, are they living the
Mm.
wellness life that we're
Mm.
all so proactively meant to be a part of? Anyway, I've digressed. I'm so sorry. Anyway, I've
No, it's
digressed from
okay.
asking about you
It's
to
all
talking about
important.
the burnout side of things. But it's happening, isn't it? So
Yeah.
it's naturally going to come up in conversation.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, but you're now currently head of spa at Oskia. Congratulations. Can
Thank you
you tell
so
me,
much.
how did that opportunity come about, and what attracted you to join a skincare brand?
Yes. So when I left my job at the Barclay, I actually didn't have a new job to go to. My plan was take the month of Christmas off, have some time off, and then start looking for a new job in the new year of 2025. Um, at the time when I'd left, I came to know that the maternity cover position was going to come up. So I got in contact with the Oskia team, and I, again, kind of putting myself out there, seeing what happened, and um, I just applied, and I had an interview, and I felt that even from the interview, I got a really good feeling about the company, about the founders, about what kind of place it was like to work in, and it really sort of snowballed from there. So, working for a skincare company is something that I've never done before, but I've always enjoyed, when I was a spa manager, meeting someone from the brand that we had, in the products in the treatment menu or in the retail area. I love talking to them. I love seeing what they could bring us at the spa and how they could help us.
Yeah,
And I felt that from that side of things, I would know how to look after existing accounts, because I knew what I used to like from when we had people coming to visit us from brands.
yeah,
Um, and that's how I really got attracted to it. But now I have been working here since March.
yeah.
I've been doing it for a few months now, and I'm really enjoying it and still learning. But yeah, I would definitely recommend that kind of move to anyone. I think it's a great fit once you've worked in a spa, to work in such a role.
So we've got the transferable skills, haven't we? You hit the nail on the head. We just take what we've enjoyed or what we've valued, and you just go, okay, well, now I'm the shoes on the other foot and I'm in that role.
Yes,
You can then take that learning and experience, can't you? So I think it's a case of, when you're a spa manager, what transferable skills have you got? And that's the biggest
yes,
in your experience to
yeah,
that new role. And then
definitely.
you've also got some consulting projects on the go.
Yes,
Can you tell me more about those as well?
yeah. So
Busy, you're
well,
busy.
yes, I don't think I expected it to become so busy as it has been, but it's really interesting to see, how much work there is out there for people who work in the spa industry. And I guess I maybe knew it before, but until you kind of get in that position where you can do these different things, you probably won't know. But certainly, I mean, the consulting project, I have had two consulting projects now outside of my work at Oskia. um, the most recent one that I finished was at Cameron House Hotel in Scotland. So the project was essentially a 12-week project. It came about by one of my previous contacts seeing on LinkedIn that I'd opened my
Mm,
own operation consulting support offering, and that's really how the opportunity came about. And the project itself was, yes, a 12-week project, and it had a few specific objectives,
mm,
which entailed sort of opening a temporary spa while the spa was under renovation. We ordered lots of things to essentially enhance the spa experience once we reopened again, working with different suppliers to do that as well. And the product brand who was at the spa were also very helpful with that too. We also hired a spa director. So I was part of the sort of recruitment process for the spa director. And then she joined just before I finished up the project. So I could hand over the things to her that of how far we'd got.
Brilliant.
And now she's really taken that forward and just rolled it out and added new things. And so that was a great project to be involved in. And I really, really enjoyed it, actually.
That's variety, isn't it? You've got variety in your week if you're doing your role at Oskia, which is 3 days a week. Is that right?
Yes.
So you've got that, and then you've got this time to diversify and do some consulting as well. And you're working on another consulting project at the moment as well. So you're still filling
Yes,
that
and
time.
so I'm still filling that time, but also, between times now things are getting busier at Oskia, so it's kind of it's now you start to see, okay, you can start to kind of manage your diary and see, oh, we need an extra day at Oskia this week, so let's try to ask if we can have one more day to do this event or things. And so I think that's really good as well. It does keep you on your toes because you've always got different lists for different projects and different things happening. But I think that's been quite good for me too, whereas in you're doing different things all the time, you're going to different places, so you don't have that sort of set routine every day to go to the same place, and it just makes your mind think a little bit differently um, than it would otherwise, I suppose. And it definitely keeps it fun. And yeah, time is
Yeah, and
going
it
fast.
complements. They complement each other though, don't they? It gives you two different. As you said, you're on a maternity cover, aren't you, for the
Yes.
role at head of spa at Oskia?
Yeah,
So you're doing some consulting. It keeps all your options open, doesn't it?
as
You
well.
might end up staying at Oskia. They're a
Yes.
different role, but actually you've also got some great consulting experience. It's I think one of the things I really picked up on, particularly with you, Laura, is that you're like, let's just try everything. Let's be
Yeah.
open and
Yes.
see what opportunities there are and try new things rather than saying, oh, I'm going to go for one thing. Having a variety on the go sounds like it's your sort of
Yes,
passion and
I
it
think
gives
it's
you the excitement
working.
you're looking for.
Yeah, I spoke to a hotel consultant the other day and he told me that he has like 7 projects at the same time. I think I would find that hard, but two, three, you can. But I guess when you, with more experience, you know how to handle more and more projects. And for me, I'm just starting it now. So I'm really still at the beginning of the whole thing, and keeping all the options open and just try everything and see what happens. Yeah.
So with many, as we're talking about other spa managers, many of them feel unsure about the career paths available beyond operations. What other are there any other kind of roles that you've seen that spa professionals can grow into? Are there other things that you've looked into as well?
Yes, so now I have started working with Oskia. I've been a bit more exposed to different types of role in the spa industry and what the different options are. Uh, Lots of it on the supplier side, so things like spa treatment trainers or spa retail trainers. I can also see from other brands there's more vacancies for those types of roles at the moment, and that really entails training the brand's treatments to new accounts or going to existing accounts that they have and doing refresher training. That looks like a really fun role, and it involves quite a bit of travel. So if you like going to new places all the time, that's a fantastic one. And any sort of therapist background spa professional would be amazing in that kind of role because they
Mm.
know what the spa therapists what their daily work entails, and they are amazing trainers. So that's one. But then also different departments, similar to our area, like account management or sales, business development, there's marketing. So all of these sort of departments that you've been working in when you've been a spa manager, you do have a lot of knowledge in regards to all those different departments. And then in the same way with brands, you have all those different sections. Some brands are bigger than others, but there's lots of different roles within that. And then the other area, which is also, I think, a good opportunity at the moment, is spa consulting for operations. So there's lots
Oh,
of consultants who are really experienced and amazing, and they would create spa concepts and fantastic menus. There, I can see there's also a space for people who can support with things like the day-to-day operations. So stock management systems, support systems, uh, checklists, SOPs, daily procedures at the spa. I can see that a lot of spas would like maybe some help with that for a short
oh.
term. So I think that's another good area that anybody who's been a spa manager would be able to really help with.
And I think it's interesting that you've picked a certain part of consulting,
Mm.
because I've heard that consulting can be quite difficult to get into, especially, you know, doing the new concepts, the pre-opening. It's all the really, I mean, I did a few pre-openings and you get a buzz from it. It's quite addictive. I'm not going to
Yes.
lie. But there are only so many new openings. There's only so many
Yeah.
refurbs happening. And actually, it's interesting that you're picking particularly the operating bit, that actually people and, hoteliers or spa directors are looking for people to write SOPs,
Yes.
and things. And that's quite a niche area, but obviously there's a demand for it.
Yes, and I think there's definitely a place for everyone in terms of the different offerings. And people's strengths. So I suppose for myself, I'm not from a therapist background, so that's a part which, although I've learned lots and I've been on lots of courses and all kinds of things, that's a part that I will always find more difficult than the reception area. Whereas when I'm at the reception, I feel I'm in my comfort zone. I know what to do. I know how
Yeah.
to help. So those kind of areas are possibly, the less glamorous parts of it, but also where all the fun happens, and kind of helping to create budgets and forecasts and all the nuts and bolts things. Whereas with the spa team, when they're running the spa, they're so busy with the day-to-day operation, the things that are happening, the guests, this is broken, this is needs to be fixed,
Hmm.
all of those things that I found that particularly in my Scotland project, that the team really liked it when I was there because I could take a task and just stay with it. Whereas for them, it was difficult because they kept getting called away from doing the
Yeah.
pre-opening budget for the new spa because they were running the operation. But when you're there with that specific task in mind, and that's the task you've been given, that's all you have to focus on, you can get things done a lot quicker than when you're trying to run the whole spa at the same time.
And it's more efficient, isn't it, I guess, to take a
Yes.
consultant to do a chunk of work, take that off of the operational side of the business, and then just bring those SOPs or that operational budget or whatever element you're doing, and then put that back in the business rather than trying to
Yeah.
carve out the time to do it. Because otherwise, we loop back round to burnout. Otherwise, the spa
Yes.
manager or director is doing it in the evening, aren't they?
Yeah. That's the thing, and they're trying to do everything. So it can be really helpful for them to have someone to come in on a short-term basis to help with
Mm.
that particular thing, hand it over to them, and then they can then, roll it out and run with it. And then, of course, when you implement things in the operation after a couple of weeks, you say, oh, maybe we should do this slightly differently, maybe we should change that. But the basis of the project is done for you, so you don't
Yeah.
need to worry about it. That can be quite helpful.
And liberating for them, I guess, as well.
Yeah.
Don't
Help
need
is
that
on
on
the
my
way.
shoulders. So what, I mean, you touched on it with like the reception side and the fact that you like this, but what skills from your time in spa management have been most valuable in your consulting and brand roles? Is it is it that operational experience? What have you really found that sort of enabled you?
Yes, so I think firstly, the work ethic of a spa manager or a spa director, that's helped me a lot in my current role, in a sense of when you don't know how to do things, you know who to ask. There's always someone to ask, and that kind of grit that you get from being a spa manager, because you do get thrown in all sorts of strange situations, um, and you may not have ever dealt with these before, but you eventually learn how to you know ride through these kind of situations, and also that sort of guest focused attitude which it just comes naturally once you've been working in a hotel for a while. And I think if you consider your customers as guests or
Mm,
as visitors to the spa, it really helps because you're always thinking of them and in that way, and how can we help them and how can we help improve the service that we offer. So I think that's helped me a lot as well. And also the network that we already have from
yeah,
being to all of the spa events, like the Spa Well events, like the UK Spa Association events, Spa Fest, all of those types of events that we've all been to, and we now know who the linen suppliers are. We now know who is available to help with, disposable towels for
yeah.
different things. So you've got all of those contacts. And then when you need them, you know who to call. And that's also helpful as well from the brand perspective too.
Yeah, I forget about that when you think about the networking and the size of your network, but not just within spa operations, but the brands. And actually, you can do a bit of collaboration with different brands together. And that's another aspect that you bring to a role when you go into working for, I guess, company like Oskia, who may not necessarily interact with other brands quite to the level you do when you're a spa director.
Yes. Yes, that's right.
So, what advice would you give to someone who's ready for something new but isn't sure where to start?
Yes. So what I would say is that this you already have the skills to do a lot of different types of jobs, especially in the spa industry, but not just limited to the spa industry. So I would definitely say to be open-minded and believe in yourself. Don't be afraid.
No,
Just
no.
try it. Yeah, try it and you will be pleased at the results of trying something new. I would definitely say myself, my own personal wellness is a lot better than it was 12 months ago.
Mm,
Um, for so many reasons, but I think sometimes it's just you need to take the right decision for you and try something new. Don't be afraid. And also talk to your network. Remember who you worked with 5 years ago that you could contact about something to do with this particular field that you're interested in.
mm.
Reach out to people. And I would always be happy to support anyone who would like to have a conversation or just a chat with someone about what do I do next? I would always be pleased to help anyone in the spa world community who would like to have a conversation with someone
Oh,
about it and need any help, because I think
thank
sometimes
you.
you just need to speak out what's in your mind and it becomes clear, um with someone you trust, of course. But I think definitely, um just don't be afraid and go for it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a really generous offer, Laura. That's so kind. I think I
No
think
problem.
I think there are a lot of people out there who would love to take you up on that, because when you're trying to make a change, where do you go? If you're, and like you say, sometimes you have to talk these things and say them out loud and be like, oh, okay, oh no, that's a bit mad, but maybe I'll give it a go. Especially from someone like yourself who's like, well, yeah, try different things, or
Yeah.
there's always one way to do it. I think sometimes we need that sounding board, and from someone who isn't in our close circle, who your friends and family, but actually from the industry.
Yes. Yes. So yeah, I would be very pleased to help anyone who would like to have a chat. Yeah, I would really
Oh,
like
thank
that.
you. No, I think that would be so. I mean, since I've been doing Spa, I've got the chance to meet various people who are thinking of changing, or perhaps have recently changed, and I think when especially in consulting, on that side, it can be quite lonely when you're trying to
Yes.
find your feet in it, and am I is what should I charge? you know
Yes.
is this something I'm going to put a lot of effort into getting this, but should I be doing something for sometimes you have to do something for free just to
Yes.
show your skill. And I think it's interesting that actually you think people don't want to talk about what they're doing, but actually people do want to talk about what they're doing. They're just not
Yes.
sure that everyone wants to hear what their thoughts are or have that conversation. But consulting is a massive change, huge rewards, but also really quite a big step out of your comfort zone.
Yes. And of course, the other thing to remember with consulting is that, the projects come in as they come in. But what I'm quite aware of is, okay, once this particular project is finished, I might not have a next one lined up. So it's maybe good to sort of do a combination of something part-time and consulting and try it out rather than go for it full pelt, just in case,
Mm.
this particular project is finished and the next one is not starting till November, and working out if that's going to work out for your own sort of financial arrangements, and all of those things require a bit of thought. But I would definitely say keep an open mind and explore all the opportunities, and don't
Mm.
forget who you met many years ago who might be able to point you in the right direction of different things.
Yeah, virtual coffees and reconnecting. But I think your hybrid, the hybrid of part-time with Oskia and consulting is the ideal. Like you say, it means you've got that consistency of a role, but also you can take on some really cool projects as long as they align with the time and you can make it
Yes,
work. It's a brilliant way of doing it. A really good way.
yes.
I love it.
It's good. And also, when it's a maternity cover, we never quite know what's happening at the end. So that's another thing to consider. But it's a nice way of trying something out and getting some experience in this field. And so, whatever happens at the end of the maternity cover, you've got a new experience, and that could be something that you could apply to other places as well if you wanted to do it.
Yeah, more skills, more experience, and then just see where it takes you. But
Yes.
you've worked extensively in the UK, so you're currently in the UK at the moment, but
Yeah.
you've also done the UAE. How do those markets differ in terms of leadership style and then opportunities as well?
Yes, so I think the leadership style is slightly different in the two places. Although I would say with both places, leading with the team first seems to work, because obviously there's all these different types of leadership styles. But I think in the spa world, we're pretty aligned with, if your team are happy and they're enjoying their work and they love coming to the spa every day, the guests are happy, the revenue comes, and the
Yes.
day-to-day work rolls around. So I think in both settings, that approach worked for me. Um, and I feel that it's a slightly different way that the systems are set up. So, for example, in the UAE, the staff live in accommodation. They have a staff bus that brings them to work. Um,
Ah.
that everyone's there under a specific, so your visa to live is connected to your work. So you're all there to work in that particular hotel. So everyone's very committed in that sense,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
they're there for that purpose. Whereas in the UK, it's people are working, but they're also living here. It's a slightly different sort of system, in a sense of um, the
Yeah.
team and how that gets set up. But yes, I think in both places, all the sort of wellness services, there's so many new spas opening up in the UK and the UAE all the time.
Yeah.
So there's so many opportunities. And but with all of the cases, I still feel that looking after your team first is the main thing, and after yourself as well, of course. And then and then everything else will come from there.
I love it. We keep going back to that burnout.
Yeah, we keep forgetting that part.
Go back, look after yourself and your team.
Yes.
I guess there's been a big a mindset shift for you in like changing from, as we say, this full-on operational role. Were there any challenges that you had to work through when you're like transitioning away from full-time spa operations?
Yes, I think the working style needs to be slightly adapted. So something that we used to do at the hotel, and I guess most hotels do this, you just send emails whenever you're on shift. So if that's on Sunday night at 10 p.m., you just send the things. Whereas now I realize that I'm working on the supplier side of things, and I'm trying to not send people emails in the middle of the night on a Sunday, which is one of my old habits, by doing things like, the schedule send button. I've
Oh my
written it,
goodness.
it's out of
I
my
have.
head, but it will get there at a reasonable time for the person who receives it. So those small things I'm trying to adjust, um, and not working at such a fast pace, because I think in the hospitality space, we're always dealing with urgent and important things. Everything's urgent and important. Whereas in this current space, it's more that it's important but not urgent. So you get to spend more time on planning. So now I am looking ahead a lot more, 3, 4 weeks ahead, and planning for something that's 3, 4 weeks ahead, not just today or tomorrow. It's a slightly different experience of where you sit in that kind of time management piece, and trying to be a lot more forward planning.
Yeah.
And actually you can get the benefits of that, so you're able to be strategic, you're able to think of different ideas because you have time on your side. So that's another part of it which is quite different to what everyone would have been used to in the spa operations.
Yeah, it's interesting. I put my hand up because I do that schedule email thing because
Yeah,
otherwise, I mean, so I prefer to work when I around my schedule because I like my work-life balance. So I will sit there in an evening and I'm like, oh, I'm like, schedule send. Don't send this email now.
yeah.
Schedule send. It's like, and I think that that's a really, and the other one though is I always used to clear my inbox because I never knew what would happen the next day or the next 2 or 3 days. So I was always like, I must clear my inbox because of that. Like, you can't forward plan, oh, I will get back to that person in 2 days' time because
Mm,
you wouldn't know if you had a therapist off sick, a receptionist off sick. So I think you're so right about this weird sense of urgency that we all
yeah,
have. And it was only when you said it then I'm like, oh, oh, I'm not the
yeah.
only one that has this, like,
Everything was an emergency all the time.
yeah, everything has to be done now. And you'd be like in the middle of like doing the budget that you've been asked 4 times for from the finance director, but there's
Yes,
another knock on the door and you're like, oh, okay, right. So you've got the sense of urgency, the importancy, and then you end up doing it in the evening. So
yes.
it's that whole thing, isn't it? I think you're right. I think coming out of any, particularly I would imagine across all hospitality
Mm,
areas, is you can now take time, you can
yes,
breathe, and then you there's no rush to get stuff done. I think it probably also makes us a bit more efficient.
yes. That's the thing. And you can take time to think about things before you do them, not just quickly doing them, get it done. You have a little bit of time to think about things, and you probably end up working smarter because you have a little bit more time.
Yeah, I'd never thought about it. It's interesting, isn't it? It's relatable when you're like, oh, I had to change this. Oh yeah, my mind still does that.
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
And how do you balance your structure and freedom now that now that you work more independently? Is it easy to self motivate yourself when you're doing the consulting work and to balance to get? Have you got the balance you were looking for? I guess.
Yes, so I would definitely say I've got the balance that I was looking for. I still have the habit of waking up early. I'm just a morning person, so I'm always awake early, even if I don't have to be on that particular day. But the main change for me with this transition has been being able to book my own sort of appointments and look after myself properly. Like, for example, a dentist appointment. If I'm doing a consulting day and that's a work from home day, I could go to a dentist appointment at 9, do a little bit of work before I go to it, and then catch it up after in the evening. Whereas when I was working at the hotel, I would just only be able to book that on my day off, or end up delaying it. Similar with my classes. So now I've joined my health club. Well, actually, I was a member before, and I hardly ever went
Oh
because
no.
I couldn't go before work. I couldn't really, I was too tired after work. And then it's just your days off, and then on your days off you might be doing other things. So now I am able to, what I quite like to do on a, if I'm a working from home day, I can go to a yoga class in the evening, and because it's not far for me to go, I can actually do it, whereas before I never would have done it. So I feel that my own wellness has really improved. When I was working in the hotel, I was probably quite guilty of putting myself last and sort of
Mm,
not living by the principles of wellness myself. I was trying to,
yeah.
but not really succeeding. Spending time planning what to cook at home and going to the supermarket and spending time choosing things instead of rushing and getting something on the way home from the hotel, uh, attending your fitness classes, going to your appointments. Um, that can all be done much more easily when you're not. When you have a bit of autonomy on your schedule, and you do make up the time in other times, but it just means you're able to get it all done. Whereas before, a few 1 or 2, 3 more weeks would go by and I still haven't done what I wanted to do or what I was supposed to do. So that's been helpful as well.
Yeah, you get wrapped up in the operation, don't you? You're just like, "Oh, and then I've missed my class," or, "Oh, I'll just
Yeah.
grab something on the way home." And it's nice to get that balance back, I guess. Um,
Yes.
so what would one piece of advice you'd have given your younger self or any spa leader wondering, is this all there is for me?
Yes. So I would say, if I could give that advice to anyone, I would say think about what skills you have, write them all down, what you do in your day to day work, and all the skills that you have. There is a whole world of opportunities out there for you, not just in the spa sector, but in different sectors as well, that your skills would be able to transfer to. And also, the spa operations will continue to be growing all the time. So you can always come back to spa operations and
Mm.
you know how to work in it. You could always come back to it in a future date. Or if you tried something and you find that, oh, actually, my favorite thing was the spa operation, it will still be there. There's lots of spas opening up all the time, and existing spas need people to join. So don't be afraid to try something different. Definitely.
Yeah, and that's interesting. That's a really good piece of advice you've given there by saying actually if it doesn't work out and you've tried something, there will always be spa operational roles there to come back to. So actually there is obviously a risk with trying everything new, but surely the bigger risk is not trying something new and finding something that you love even more or
Yeah.
it's really a really nice way to leave it is to say try, but you can always go back.
Yes. It's not, the door is not closed.
I don't think it ever closes. No, I think you're
Yeah.
totally right. Um, Laura, thank you so much. And
Thank
I'm gonna
you.
reiterate in the community and stuff when I post this to say like that if anyone does have any ideas or wants to just come and have a virtual coffee, that you are open to it because that's really kind.
Yes.
And I am as well. I'm always open to helping people within our industry to kind of try new things and things. So I really appreciate that for us. Thank you.
Anytime. Thank you so much. It was great talking to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Laura. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Same. Thank you so
Thank
much. See you.
you.
Bye.